fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What people do eat no money, what they at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss you, we eat the your little rat you. Use the youth, them money, waste a must a man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but bigger than a figure you. Take the spit of money, God, and say that it's not you. One day the man above him, up him, I got stop you. Too much eat in the kitchen, some a fly by like a pot too. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me
300% free.
It burn me
Garbage pile of the day.
It burn me
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me
I see corruption cease.
It burn me
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me
And them a sell out with each.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
For me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in a whatever. Member bold money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start and thief when them sell.
It burn me
On the chili market man.
Boom! I mean, I say a couple to the flex they represent for Wayne Global TV. There. So I say, you know the code in the Wayne Global TV is what fully blessed on 90 days. So I say, yeah man, to the fullest. Yeah man, make sure them log in to Wayne Global TV. So I say, check it out. So I say, one cup of flex. So I say, Wayne Global. When you watch you know, see them a plan up and a try to put them money pan we head. But man a live too long, them want Wayne Global fitted. To him juggle so smooth that them want him life for dread. I chew the bank a light the break, but we ain't all about the bread. We open up in the ears and no listen when we said, cause we lyrics them so smooth like the linen pan the bed. Them want we fit fall, we living pan the edge, I must say true, we make this them. We ain't Global TV, we are 90, anointed. Who Jaja bless, say no man can curse. Give it the Range Rover, who no drive years. Boom! We in Global TV to the fullest, one cup of excellence. See me?
Good morning, good morning. If you're on the Eastern timeline, if you're on London and Greenwich Mean Time, good afternoon and welcome to the At a Glance program. Yes, it is your channel, the Global Television Group. Good morning to my community and all my family members, platform membership holders, moderators, viewers, commenters. Good morning, good afternoon. Like and share up the live, please. Debbie Jervis, Elaine Turner, Patricia Matthews, Natalia Freeman, Sharon Bernard, Angela Missenden, Beaton Teach, Lenwet Steele, Sunshine, Yvonne Green, Laura Morris, Loris Beckford, Pamela McNeil, Ebenezer Cody, Wayne Evans, Darth White, Annie Jones, Bros, Michelle Lewis Wilson God's Gift, Patricia Matthews, Corrine Wilson, Sheena Kelly, Yvonne Johnson, Marcia Estee, Marcia Thomas, Mavis Forbes, Colleen Humphreys, Cousin Myrna, Wagwan, Feline, Rosemary Samuels. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone, and welcome. If you're running a corporation and the corporation is run by your administrators, you are under a duty to advise the administrators of your corporation. Dorothy Elliott, Ronald B. Given that, Ransford McLean, this Jamaica is a corporation owned by us, the people. Therefore, as shareholders, we are under a duty to advise, monitor, and mentor those who run our corporation. RJ, so we're going to advise the Prime Minister this morning. We're going to talk to the Prime Minister. But we're going to whittle and waddle before we talk to the Prime Minister. The case of Vibes Cartel. To a lot of vloggers out there who really doesn't understand the law, allow the law to play out. It will play itself out based on the facts presented by both sides and the decision coming from the appeal court judge. Let the thing play itself out. Because I see everybody are getting a hissy fit and a turn Sir P in a celebrity. Sir P get a mention. No, it's not like that. You're all missing the point. One, how would that argument regarding Sir P or other vloggers come into the case? The fair hearing rights. Your right to a fair trial. This is how this argument is introduced. This argument about Sir P and other vloggers, the information put out there would be prejudicial to the accused. Therefore, the affidavit from the sister is what brought Sir P and others into the conversation, even though Sir P is named personally because of certain publications that he would have put out, the sister is saying would be prejudicial. Miguel King. So don't make Sir P a celebrity as if the justice system is under a duty to listen to Sir P's argument. Anthony Stewart. It would be mad. It would be mad of the judiciary with what they have in front of them to take in consideration what a vlogger says or the information put out there by a vlogger. Of course, in a fair hearing argument, the argument about publicity and media narrative, yes, is going to played out. Chanel Williams, Christine Gilbert. But it's really because of Sean Storm's sister's affidavit that spoke to those issues. So another quote, pay attention to Sir P, Pamela Akola. Some people who doesn't understand the law and how it works in the vlogging community are really missing a lot of point with the whole cartel issue, such as what is the difference between conviction, what is the difference between sentence, what is the difference between a charge. A lot of people, Andrea, I find in their argument over social media, Yvonne Riley, are very confused by those little different things. Hence, ever since the Privy Council ruling, if you notice, I pay very little attention to the Vibes Cartel case. Let justice play itself out. The whataboutism and the woulda, shoulda, coulda, never did is not what the case is based on. It is not what will be presented by either team, and it is not what the judge will make their decision on. Some of the arguments that will be have amongst trial rights, they will be talk. A part of that, the jury issue would come up. Is the court able to select a fair panel of jury that will convict him based on the evidence and not based on media narrative and publicity? Or will they convict him on media publicity rather than on the evidence? Is there a likelihood of us having another tainted jury pool? The issue of expenses also will be mounted. The issue of fundamental rights will be mounted. So there's a lot of arguments that is going to be presented. The issue of the strength of the evidence, will it be able to pass the fundamental rights threshold? There is a loads of argument presented. Donnet Althea, Darty Elliott, Claudette Robinson. But it is those arguments that the judge will make their decision on. Not anything that Serpi or any other vlogger or any other news broadcaster put out in public. They would only be setting themselves up for another downfall in an appeal. So please, let the case play out. Let justice play itself out. We'll come back to you. Hey, let us welcome Little Matt. Let Little Matt feel welcome. He's not really from here, is it? Are you, Little Matt? Make Little Matt feel welcome and feel at home. Let Little Matt feel welcome and feel at home. Little Matt is not really from here, is he? And with the new argument pushed by PJ and the others, Little Matt may be cut out. But intelligence, though, Prime Minister, suggests on one list that Floyd Green is being positioned as your successor, should you step down or have to step down, because the Americans feel more comfortable working with Floyd Green. If there's any truth to that argument, and should Floyd Green be thrown into the ring, Mr. Green is going to come under stiff scrutiny. He has already been hanged out to dry by you, Prime Minister, during COVID in his blunder, Lorraine Taylor. If we're to draw inference from Dr. Campbell's statement a week or two ago, the people that he should say hello to when he goes to Braves River, Kenil Gale. Mr. Green was one of them that he was supposedly to big up when him got Braves River. Dorothy Brown. Now, that would be a new blunder that would set the scrutiny even stiffer against Mr. Green, Violet Watson. If Mr. Green is seen little Matt out of the race, little Matt in a Senate in it, so him can't really throw him hat in the ring. Will Floyd Green be able to pass the integrity threshold test? And would we be able, Integrity Commission, to have a report tabled on the illicit 6 before the next general election or before a change of leadership in the Jamaica Labour Party? Because to put down one illicit and take up another illicit, we would not go nowhere. We wouldn't have no vision or intention for going nowhere. Ronald B. We would have just locked in at the same shenanigan over and over, back and forth, same old, 6.5 dozen. According to my understanding, the last time I looked up Jamaica is a crown land owned. Yes, it is. That's correct. But let me tell you how it became a corporation. In 1889, there's a case called Samuel and Samuel that gave legal personalities to corporation. So when we became independent, so-called, unknowingly, we became corporation. Then we became a corporation status, even though it's a corporation still owned by the crown, but it is run as a corporation. I hope a shenanigans them do it with you. Holy political madness tied together with government, church, and state. I want to hope a frig with them do it with Delroy. How you do? So is Floyd Green the right person to take over from Andrew Holness? Does the Jamaica Labour Party even have anybody credible, anyone with integrity to take over from one of the worst JLP leader we've ever had in this country? Could we see people like Darrell Vaz and Chris Tufton, and even Blind Hog, gunslinging Dr. Chang, throw them hat in the ring? Could Juliet Holness make an attempt to become the first female leader of the Jamaica Labour Party? No, so we're going to have to change Andrew before the general election, isn't it? Isn't it, CDW, a big conversation? Isn't it a big conversation privately in the Jamaica Labour Party and at Central Executive that we need to change the leadership before we go to a general election, because we don't see the winning viability going forward as we are? Which led Andrew Holness to start talk nonsense. And that's why I am under a duty to advise the Prime Minister. I feel it. The People Corporation in Maron. Jamaica Labour Party Andrew Holness said the party's supporters are to see a different approach in its organization and communication. following the local government election in February. Added to that, the performance of all JLP representatives, Holness said, is up for scrutiny. As the governing party commissions a review of its structure, organization, and workers. You're going wrong, Prime Minister. Prime Minister, you are dead wrong. You are misguided, Prime Minister. The problem facing the Jamaica Labour Party at the moment, it's not really the organizational structure of the Jamaica Labour Party, nor, Prime Minister, is it about work. Communication, though, Prime Minister, there are some issues here with communication. Not that the Jamaica Labour Party doesn't have a good PR machine. The Jamaica Labour Party PR machine, Prime Minister, has run out of believable lies, is one of the major problems. Another part of the problem with communication, Prime Minister, the Jamaica Labour Party has failed and its promises spun, Prime Minister, by your 2016 PR machine. You are out of believable lies, Prime Minister. The narrative crafting, the optics, your ways of communication, Prime Minister, you have run out of it. This has nothing to do, Prime Minister, with the structure, the organizational structure of the Jamaica Labour Party. That is not the issue we identify here. Workers. What is the issue with the workers in the Jamaica Labour Party? Since 2016, Andrew Holness ushering to government, Matthew Lewis, Dorothy Brown. Andrew Holness has turned his back on the very Labour Party core, always observing, that helped him to get to where he is. A lot of the complaint amongst your people on the ground, Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister now do nothing for we. That is the problem you're having with workers. That is not an issue with the Jamaica Labour Party. That's an issue, Prime Minister, with the governance of the Prime Minister's leadership. So you see how much point you missed there, son? Structure, organizational structure. We saw the other day when we went to Belmont Road to have one of those very meetings to spruce up the organizational structure of the People's National Party. When we remove Nesta from the JLP communications machine. When we fix Secretary and Cheddar and something else. That organization, Prime Minister, did not prove to work because what came out of that meeting was followed by a litany of governmental blunder. That means, Prime Minister, if there was any structuring or any reorganizing there, somebody would have turned the ship around, Prime Minister. It is still heading for the iceberg, you see. It is still heading for the iceberg. Then what could really be the problem if it's not the workers, the communication, or the organizational structure of the Jamaica Labour Party? Ooh, we finally got there, Prime Minister. It's all about your cabinet and your governance structure, Prime Minister. That is really what is causing the problem here, rather than the Jamaica Labour Party structure itself creating the problem. Maureen Sang, Agency Driver 5, Honodo, Christine Gilbert. The big issue here is the Prime Minister governance structure and way of governance. Prime Minister. That is really what the problem is. So therefore, Prime Minister, you are misguided because you want to shake up the Jamaica Labour Party in order to make things work and to make things turn around. No, that which you need to do need to be done in the cabinet. And let me start explaining. Hot bread. Hot bread is the issue, Prime Minister, of your wife in the high chair. The issue of your wife as a member of the cabinet. The issue of your wife as head of the legislature. And you know, Prime Minister, a litany of things came with that alone. Mary Messenger TV. Conflict of interest, among other things. But the lie, the hidden off report, the out of jurisdiction discipline of Miss Curtis, the possible sacking of Miss Curtis because she has gone back into government, is a burden around your neck, Prime Minister, all the way up to one, the removal of your wife from that high seat, or it will hang you at the general election. Cat Patty, the issue, Prime Minister, of the illicit things. Until issues like that are cleared up to the public, there are going to be issues in your camp that have nothing to do with the Jamaica Labour Party per se. Georgette Brown. Refusal to sign the code of conduct and lack of integrity, Prime Minister, is one of the things that is bugging your government and not really the Jamaica Labour Party. It is bugging the Andrew Holness's government. It is bugging the direction the Andrew Holness government is going. The issue of cabinet reshuffle, Prime Minister, you have been doing a Narcissus story, climb up in a wall, then hang down high headway, for fool. Note when the Prime Minister is reshuffling cabinet, what does the Prime Minister do? Given that the Prime Minister have a lot of ministry and agencies within the office of the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister tend to do a turnaround in his office, but not a turnaround in the cabinet. Note carefully. Since 2016, how much of the big, dull, useless players that the country are fed up with, that Andrew Holness have at the helm of our cabinet, aren't they still there? Dr. Harris Chang. A continuous escalation of crime, to date, no crime policy. Dr. Christopher Tufton, a depleting healthcare, no dialysis, no x-ray, no MRI, no CAT scan, no CT scan, no ultrasound scanner. People have been asking for changes in those areas. Billions stolen from Ministry of Health unaccounted for. Ministry of Education, Prime Minister, a woeful cry across the country. Violence escalating in our school, grades going down, teachers leaving the country. Andrew Holness governance, not the Jamaica Labour Party per se. Andrew Holness way of governing. Andrew Holness cronyism and nepotized cabinet. The Westminster system of cronyism, where people like Floyd Green can get kicked out and get drawn back in days, because the qualification for a cabinet is be my friend or my enemy. It's either I'm going to choose it to support me or I'm going to choose it to silence you. So if the Prime Minister, if you want a meaningful turnaround, it is needed in your cabinet and not in the party. You need to do a major reshuffle of what you have refused to touch, Prime Minister, such as the cabinets outside your office. When it was time for Marlene Malahou Fort, Sharon Powell, to go, you never met Marlene Malahou Fort go, Prime Minister. You created a cronyized office and position for her, one that is a remit of the Department of Justice, and the country has waste, money, and a minister and her bureaucrats and technocrats, and a whole new office, bros. The changes, Prime Minister, the changes is needed in your cabinet. It is where the problem lies, Prime Minister. It is where the problem lies. All right. Me come go on my bed. Me go park go walk now. Same whole phone a finger down the side. Or phone a finger in on the pocket. Me go park go walk. Me not under duty to sit down and I talk to people where them not even can say, all right, make me support the program. What you want me to do? Come out here and behave like Mackerel and Guyanese people are like Queenie and Amari. We can't do it, you know, because I know say them fuck really on the love. When I don't like when people are teaching or nothing good. When I don't like good teaching. The unconstitutionality of your leadership, Prime Minister, one that has been shown from the time you were the opposition leader, ruled against by the court, Derek Green, veteran, how you do? Ruled against by the court multiple times. Multiple times ruled against by the court for your unconstitutionality of your governance, Prime Minister. So you see where the problem lies now, Prime Minister. It's not in the Jamaica Labour Party per se. This is why the narrative goes around Prime Minister is the worst Prime Minister Jamaica has ever had. It's the worst leader the Jamaica Labour Party has ever had. Prime Minister has talk on corruption and thieving, unable to declare, avoiding tax hiding. Prime Minister may not start yet. I don't know if they have the time to reach this. So you see where the problem is, Prime Minister. Would you like to pick the beam, Prime Minister, out of your eyes and leave the beam in the Jamaica Labour Party eye? The beam, Prime Minister, in the Jamaica Labour Party eye. We have been dealing with it from Siaga and Buster them days. But the beam, Prime Minister, were enough for your eye. Surpass all of them. Take out the beam out of your eye first. It is because of your lack of governance and lack of PR decorum why dear little Matt is in this very situation where one has to really make little Matt feel welcome, be a part of us, little Matt, because you're not really from here, are you? Georgia Dennis. So you see, Prime Minister Noreen Dennison, you see you're missing a lot of opportunities. Likewise, priorities, Prime Minister. focus on your cabinet rather than being focused on the Jamaica Labour Party and thinking, Prime Minister, that it's the Jamaica Labour Party why things are going south for the party. It's not really like that. The issue, Prime Minister, is coming from your cabinet. The issue is coming from your governance. The issue is coming from your cabinet, from your governance. So leave the Jamaica Labour Party alone. As so we know them from Buster days, from Thiaga days. As so we know them. You come make it totally different from what everybody else used to. And that'll create the problem, Prime Minister. Remember you said you won the election even though your base didn't fully come out. Have you gone around the country to assess why your base never come out? You promised to listen to the people during your election campaign, Prime Minister. Are you really listening to the people? You promised to share the wealth of that well-crafted economy, Prime Minister, that you and your team did up there in the last month, in the last 8 years, rather, remember? You planned to share that with us. Where is our part of it? You see where the problem is, Prime Minister. You promised us to sleep with our windows and our door open, which was far-fetched in a way, political pundits and puffs. But more than all, your 100-day promise, Prime Minister. 8 years. And we're still searching for that needle in a haystack, Barris White. Still searching. You see where the problem is? You see where the attention, Prime Minister, is to be focused? You see where the attention is to be focused? The Jamaica Labour Party, Prime Minister, if it is going wrong, it is going wrong based on leadership. It is going wrong based on the leadership of governance, Prime Minister, not based on leadership of the Jamaica Labour Party, based on leadership of governance. That's where the problem lies. So if you really want to sort the problem out, Prime Minister, do us the favor. Remove your wife and replacing her by promoting somebody you haven't given a government job. Particularly, remove Dr. Harris Chang, if not anybody else. And then, Prime Minister, step down and let the Labour leadership challenge progress. Because I'm warning you, Prime Minister, if you let this thing play out nasty, it will be even more damaging for the Jamaica Labour Party. A smooth transition of leadership, Prime Minister, to prepare for the general election is advisable. What is not advisable, Prime Minister, is a backstabbing and a knife-wielding war in the Jamaica Labour Party, Kevin Davis, for leadership. It will be a blunder that takes the party to its death at the next general election. So that's why I'm here to advise you this morning, Prime Minister. You notice me now drag you? I'm advising you. But do you ever take advice though on the whole seaside chef cuisine? Do you really take advice? Or is it a one-upmanship bad man government thing, Janet Riley? Is it a one-upmanship, bad man government thing? Why there seem to be no cooperation in the Jamaica Labour Party, and it seems like Andrew and his wife just run the party and the country. Those are the major issues. Those are the issues that need restructuring, Prime Minister. It's a comprehensive restructuring of your cabinet, particularly, Prime Minister, those outside the office of the Prime Minister. And this is some of the big problem them there. Ronnie Nicholson, how you do? And this so some of the big problem them there. Education, national security, health care, national works, we're in your office. Where one bridge pop down for 3 years now. And if I no bamboo and rope, we can't get across it. If we no walk down in a riverbed. Remember the guy from St. Thomas? You know, when the St. Thomas road did pop, what he said? It's on go a fisherman, nobody can cross it. Everybody must remember because it did turn viral. Nobody can cross it. Nobody can cross it. Nobody can cross it. Fix up Andrew Holness. Regardless of what we think about you politically, you're running our corporation. You're making decisions that affects all of us. You're making decisions that affects all of us, Andrew Holness. A lot of us who are on the train, or a lot of us who are spectators of the train, Prime Minister, have seen the derailment of the train. Kebilan, how you do? Have seen the derailment, Prime Minister. It is rather sad to know that the driver is moving along with a derailed train without realizing that the passengers and those spectators standing by are saying the train has been derailed. You and your leadership style, Prime Minister Laverne Baker. You and your lack of, Prime Minister. You and your failure to do, Prime Minister. You and we don't know how much you take up put in your pocket, Prime Minister, are some of the major problems. And them, they're the major problem, them. You hear nobody go around and criticize the structure of the Jamaica Labour Party. A lot of people's problem is with your cabinet, Prime Minister. The major players in your cabinet, Chanel Williams. Remember you and J.C. Hutchison in a 2023 make up and buy one donkey for things so you solve a problem. Drop one jot of gravel on a bad road and tell us so you fix the road. One gravel on a whole stretch of road and you tell us the Prime Minister you fix the road. Emil Smith Sparling, how are you? There won't be a turnaround in the Jamaica Labour Party, Prime Minister, until there's a turnaround in your cabinet. There's also needed to be a turnaround in your public demeanor and your way of governance. Your listening skill, Prime Minister, is horrible. The arrogance, Prime Minister, in your communication have outstayed its welcome beyond wholeness. Your arrogance have outstayed its welcome. Your thin-skinnedness, Prime Minister, your arbitrary behavior in using or log or drag people from under bed, prosecute pastor for hear from the demons, Jesus or the devil, sir. Do you ever listen to I'm starting with the man in the mirror? Oh, yeah. We're asking him to change his way. Start with yourself, Prime Minister. Look this morning, Prime Minister, in the mirror. Ask yourself, don't ask where am I going wrong, Ask where Andrew Holness is leading the country to. Where am I going wrong? Where is Andrew Holness going wrong? Is Andrew Holness's direction feasible? Are the people on the train comfortable with the direction of the train, Prime Minister? Stand in the mirror and ask yourself that question. Don't come out here and come blame the Jamaica Labour Party because they run out of ways to blame Mark Golden. Look at the two families that take over our country. One set of family get one whole parish. 3 family around the country, no might as well move boy there from put Pernell Charles Jr. up at St. Thomas and put the gun boy there, James Robertson, down at Clarendon. So the Vans them own Portland. The Charleses them own St. Thomas. Remember, so the Charleses them thief off the whole of St. Thomas people land and say for them, and you never see a thief in Pernell Charles and them thief in Picnic them and buy land where them don't have paper for. And then the rest at 12 parish is owned by the Holnesses them. Honestly, we don't have no share and part in this year. Because them take it and them share it up for themselves. Remember, your white friend them where they tell you said. Your white friend them tell you what they say you fall asleep at the wheel. Fast asleep, eyes shut. You're probably hype on something while you're fast asleep. That's also. And you're not able to say you're asleep. No attempt to even wake up and wash your face. And say, no, I never asked how we plan, Crime, I never this how we plan. Education, I never this how we plan. Economy, and never this how we plan. Social justice, and never this how we plan. How to get to racism, birtherism, and bigotry, Prime Minister? It's where you have end up. Racism, birtherism, and bigotry. Now you get it? I wonder if they'll really get it. I wonder if they will do some self-examination. I wonder if they will do some internal, organizational, governmental house sweeping and keeping. Until you deal with the issue of governance, Prime Minister, you are drawing the Jamaica Labour Party backwards. You're drawing the Jamaica Labour Party to the days of being out in the cold like Edward Seaga. After being hard hit by a racist PJ Patterson government. Way out in the cold, Prime Minister. But to those of you with political life and political ambition, are you willing to sacrifice you becoming leader of Jamaica? You becoming a member of the cabinet for a prime minister that has packed his bag full all his containers and is still steering the ship to the iceberg? Are you prepared to stay on such ship? Or are you going to look at my political ambition my political life and my political credibility. Because some of you people in the Jamaica Labour Party seem to be saying politically there's no life beyond Andrew Holness. Let's go down with the Prime Minister. There's no life. There is no Jamaica Labour Party without Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Let us all go down on the sinking ship. I saw it go. Uno willing to sacrifice everything for Uno, for one person who doesn't give too much about you. Well, Elaine Turner, the compound town is in St. Elizabeth. I don't know for the other Maroon community. I think there's one in Trelawney. I think it's possibly in Portland, but the compound Maroons are in St. Elizabeth. I think a bit of them may borderline St. James, but the major part of a compound comes under St. Elizabeth, from my understanding. Annie Jones, how you do? Portland is Moortown. So the Moortown Maroons are in Portland. And there's a Trelawney town as well. Is it not Beat and Teach? There's another town in the Trelawney region, but the compound Maroons are in St. Elizabeth. I think there's probably a bit of St. James border, I'm not sure, but St. Elizabeth is their major geography. Wayne Andrew does not have any time for house cleaning. Him have time to talk about him. About with carrying misinformation. Lastly, Prime Minister Charlestown Maroon, Buff Bay, Portland. As I said, I think you're referring to a compound town. There would be a split between St. Elizabeth and St. James because the major part of a compound is for Richard Corridem section is in St. Elizabeth. Yeah, at the Richard Curry sector, Andrew Holness, they are compound. But what uno don't know, you remember say he was there 4 other Maroon communities outside of a compound, what? Charlestown, Moortown, and which other town, Beat and Teach? But his problem is with a compound Maroon, Chief Curry. Chief Curry is his problem. But not only that, because he was trying to twist the other chiefs against Chief Curry, and it didn't go the way Andrew wanted. Andrew is not even communicating with the other chiefs. Remember when he did have that sit-down meeting with the other chief, them with the exemption of Chief Curry? Him not have that deal. I'm positive of a compound town. I've been there before. I know that section. But Scott Hall Maroon in St. Mary. Yes. So Andrew Holness not doing something there anymore. Him not even communicating with the other Maroon communities that Daniel Hamilton that he was communicating with him, cut them off. Because what and if you notice, he moved from the Maroon over into the Taino situation. What he wants to do is to use the Taino community to outright the jurisdiction of the Maroon community. Andrew Holness a play one whole heap of that game. Andrew Holness a walk and play. Forget things for him one way. That is why you see nothing to do with the Maroons. I'm not interested about in the new constitution, because what he wants under a Republic Jamaica is unitary jurisdiction. As on here, he mentioned it in a one-arm rant. No other sovereign entity in Jamaica except for the Jamaica government, not 1 inch. So under the Republic, what he wants is, rather than acknowledging the jurisdiction of the Maroons, he wants a unitary Jamaica where the Maroons, done it one, would lose the right to their land, and then, Sonia Fraser, the government takes control of those land, and whoopsie-daisy, when know Anjo and the mining. So that is one of Anjo's backdoor deal with pushing the Republic, because he's trying to take away jurisdiction from the Maroon communities and take control of their lands in order, Sonia Smichael and Sonia Foster. Forget if he mind for himself. Andrew a play one old heap of chicken game with the Jamaica people. The Jamaica people are not quite much informed, because government not inform you. Media is not investigating. Media is not having the conversation. So a lot of things we're lack of knowledge of. I am silently listening, but I love the way that you have been laying it out on the table. Hopefully, he will comprehend. Sonia Andrew, don't listen. A long time, Florence Hamilton. How you do? A long time. Everybody there talk to this man. This man have gotten so much advice, especially from in the vlogging world, where if Andrew was listening, Andrew could take a U-turn or a 180-degree turn from where he has gone, particularly since the local government election. They are just off track. Nothing to do with governments. It's pure blunder, narrative, optics, and the showcase politics, Prime Minister. I mean, information is too much out there now for us to play a show glass politics. It really isn't working. What are the things you can do? The things that you promise to listen to us about, the things that you promise to do on the local government election campaign. Start with one of them, some of them. If you want the people to really believe that something goes, so start with them. The Spark Project, Prime Minister. The Spark Project, it's nothing to write home about. Mommy wouldn't want to even hear that the Spark Project has started, or how long before the Spark Project will get on her road. Prime Minister, the pissing of gas oil and mall is not fixing enough road. This is not even Band-Aid on a sore, Prime Minister. It's simple not. We just need to piss on the road and a pothole break out. We're tired of the mall and the gas aisle. We're tired of the mall and the gas aisle. We want to son I use fixed road. And then all we need to do is just 2 junkin man go piss and a pothole break out. We want proper tarmac roads. We want pavements to walk on. We want, when we road them structure with proper drainage. Proper drainage and proper irrigation system for our water. We'll go and sit down here. Sit down and don't put the government to work and think this government is ever going to do anything. The truth is, Andrew need to go. How are we going to remove him before a general election? That is down to the Jamaica Labour Party. Because we don't have really good journalism in this country to put the pressure on Andrew Holness to really do what is right by the country. Do what is right by the country. We want sidewalks. We want pavement. We want proper sidewalk. We want proper drain. We want proper irrigation system. So a water system can get back like we come from land of wood and water and not land of dry water and wet wood. Prime Minister Rosalie Ricketts, how are you? The man in the mirror, Prime Minister. Look within. Start within. Clean up the dirty fish head, Prime Minister. Otherwise, everything pan the fish will come stingy. And that is the fish head that you, Andrew Holness, has become for the stingy Jamaica Labour Party. You think up the party. You stink up the party because the fish head spoil, Prime Minister. Proper healthcare or depleting healthcare where I get rather than proper. Depleting healthcare. But thank you for being here this morning on your At a Glance program. Andrew is just a big boy in man's pants. Know nothing about good governance. Go outside and wheel and come again. He not ready yet. He have no integrity nor leadership skill. No integrity or leadership skill. It's hard in a Prime Minister when people are beat down upon your integrity so every day. PMP, Labour, Independent, even those who are disengaged, Prime Minister, your integrity is a big bother for the country. A major bother. Susan Curtis, good morning. We need voice training. Speak like a person with dementia. Too much repeating of the same sentence. I guess you didn't go to school, Miss Curtis. I guess going through education, you didn't learn the art of repetition, Miss Curtis. The art of repetition, Miss Curtis, is way by which we learn. That's why, Miss Curtis, we can all recite the 23rd Psalm without picking it up on paper. Repetition, Miss Curtis. Do you understand the method of teaching, Miss Curtis? Would you be a successful teacher in the classroom, Miss Curtis? Repetition, Laxi Gregory, is important. Driving one's point home, Miss Curtis, is important. I'm 50, Miss Curtis, not too far from dementia. Hope, Miss Curtis, that you never get there. But you must understand the way of teaching and learning, Miss Curtis. All right? Understand the way of teaching and learning. There is nothing wrong with repetition. That's why I don't care how no wicked. Stephen Brown, how are you? AAB, how you doing? That's why I don't care how we wicked and dunce. All of us can repeat the Lord's Prayer there. All of us there can repeat the 23rd Psalm. It's because of repetition. We can repeat poems. We can repeat the anthem. We can repeat the pledge. Repetition, my dear. Reputation. Nothing is wrong with being dementated. Obviously, sometimes if you have the patient, people with dementia, or some quite hilarious people to be around. Because sometimes they talk to things that you can't see or hear, but it does make sense, Miss Curtis, is it not? Derek Green, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Green. So, don't have a problem with repetition there. Understand how we teach and how we learn. All right? Understand how we teach and how we learn there. That's why maybe we're so behind, because we're not teach and we're not learn well. Have you ever think? Anybody else to attack? Anybody else wants to attack? Is there any other attackers? Me back broad, you know, I don't have problem with criticism. Even if you don't want to cuss me and drag me. Me back broad. Broad. I mean, don't run from a good challenge nor a good argument. All right there? So, want to be careful when you run, come over here, come criticize. Because we're rapturized, you know. So, Saturday is the Washington protest. I don't know how to pronounce the address. If me say 1520 New Hampshire Avenue, Northwest Washington, because American address, we people in the British system have a problem in how to pronounce the number part of the American address. So me don't know if I saw if you say, but the information is on the screen for the Washington protest on Saturday. Saturday, whole heap on our walk. So even for no out of shopping another downtown New York, on a must can jump on a subway and say, you know what? May I take a half hour ride over to Washington because see what go on at the protest and all that jazz. You know? So hopefully in a turnout, we will be broadcasting Keith Matthews, because my reporters, my chief correspondent and my New York reporter will be on the ground. So therefore, we will be bringing you live coverage from the Washington, D.C. protest. So make sure, as much as I know, can go there, go ask the Prime Minister, say, sir, you don't see we pick them dead over Chai Bridge. You don't see the death trap, the death cloud, Prime Minister, over Chai Bridge. Chai Bridge is a disaster to brand Jamaica, Prime Minister. 3 years and we pick them up for a swim go to school a man time and a swim back home, Prime Minister. So I hope when you can go there, go bawl out and cry out and make Karen Cross and Dunce, Dr. Clovis know say we need them to tell we what this brand Jamaica is. And them for write on paper tell we what we talk say about brand Jamaica when we talk and when we talk say, because at the moment we can't go to the thief and the corruption and the crime, the lack of education, the lack of health care and Chai Bridge. So if we don't want to talk about it, something they write on paper. So we can go learn what we talk say. Further every minute we come out and we open our mouth, we upset on them. We know on the brand Jamaica with Chinese, white people, and everybody except for Uno Jamaica. And I only want to talk about brand Jamaica, you know. Oops, we don't hear nobody else. We don't hear nobody else talk about brand Jamaica. And only one out here with the brand Jamaica nonsense. Nobody else. Them will own Jamaica economy and land. don't talk about Brand Jamaica. Uno the one them we can't even go up on the Brand Jamaica beach them. Uno we have to cut up and bud in a sun. Uno we can't go up on a beach in a white people there. I one day Karen and Clovis and sunny days them. Where every day them get up talk about Brand Jamaica. The Bamboo Bridge, Brand Jamaica. On the right on paper, so we know what it talks. Otherwise, unruly fool like me, just I go come out here and decide which one of me if to deal with it. Out of the 10 of me, out of the 10 of me, which one must I use today? So you decide the one you want me to use and write to send come give me some member say that one yeah. They want me to use. But when we come out here at the time, any of the 10 of me, whenever I hear about split personality, any of the 10 of me can jump out from any different angle and corner. Any one of me. But thank you, I should have gone a long time for being here. May I go have my porridge now? I'm not an early eater. I'll see. I'm not an early eater. I make one porridge this man what I never make before. When I do my banana porridge, I do my banana with my skin. But this porridge, banana porridge today, I've added linseed and crush up some Irish mash, put in it. So, if you don't hear me dead, you don't know what kill me, is my banana porridge with Irish mash and linseed in it. Thank you, and see you later on. Me have my porridge and go get little sunlight. Thank you very much and good afternoon from Global Television Group.